there is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws.
Hey, Vsauce, Green Films here. So we did it. We hit 50 subscribers. I just want to start this video by giving a huge thank you for your support. It really means a lot to me. I know this number is minuscule compared to other YouTubers like PewDiePie or something, but to me it means a lot, because just to know that people genuinely like my content and want to subscribe to my channel to stay updated when I upload, it means the world to me. So thank you. So anyways, I wanted to do a special video to celebrate this, and it's my favorite movie of all time. And I would say get your sailor hats on, boys, because we're talking about a movie that takes place on the water. That's right, we're covering Jaws. Jaws was directed by Steven Spielberg. It stars Roy Scheider, Robert Shaw, and Richard Dreyfuss, and it was based on a novel of the same name written by Peter Benchley, who also wrote the screenplay for this movie. The story is that a shark starts eating people in the beaches of Amity Island. The chief of police, Martin Brody, tries everything to sort this problem out. He even suggests closing the beaches. However, Larry Vaughn, the mayor of Amity Island, wants to keep the beaches open for the 4th of July, because people will come in for 4th of July and it will be the biggest summer Amity Island has ever had. This causes complications as Chief Brody tries to kill the shark and prevent as many deaths as possible. Jaws is easily one of the most famous movies of all time, being parodied or referenced by pretty much everything under the sun, inspiring a massive shark movies craze, and for good reason, I'd say. It's a film that understands suspense and what makes a scene terrifying. It creatively uses camera angles and subtle use of music to create some of the scariest scenes in movie history. It takes a long while before you actually see the shark in the movie, and keeping it hidden helps just make the scenes scarier. Being that this is a movie released in 1975, there wasn't any CGI, so they used all practical effects, and the practical shark they used for this movie was a huge pain on set. The shark was intended to actually physically appear in the film more often. However, the shark kept malfunctioning in the water and ruining scenes. So instead of scrapping the movie entirely, Steven Spielberg opted to show the shark less and instead opt for these first-person perspective shots from the shark, and it works really great at building suspense, combined with the brilliantly subtle music from John Williams. I think it's absolutely brilliant that they were able to turn a bad thing into a good thing, and it ended up making the movie more effective in the long run. It's like how in Monty Python's The Holy Grail, when they couldn't get horses, so they just clacked coconuts together. That made that movie funnier, and I think that the first-person perspective shots of the shark make this movie scarier. This movie is an absolutely brilliant example of holding back from showing the primary threat in your monster movie or just evil animal movie. to build tension, and how that's infinitely more effective than if you just show the creature all the time. It also makes the scenes where the shark is actually on screen way more special and memorable. But hey, Stephen King once said,
"There can be no horror if there isn't caring and love." That's very important, and I think a lot of filmmakers miss that.
But Jaws doesn't miss that. In fact, I think all the main characters are great. Let's discuss them all, one by one. We have Martin Brody, our protagonist, and while he certainly isn't flawless, he's a well-meaning guy who wants the best for everyone in Amity Island. He truly adores and loves his family, as seen by this adorable scene with him and his youngest son, Sean. It's a great scene that just adds a lot of heart to the movie, and it's honestly one of the most memorable parts of the movie. It says so much with so little words and feels really realistic. And even when he's angry or annoyed with somebody, he still makes sure that they can redeem themselves by doing the right thing. A great example of this is when he gets the mayor of Amity Island to sign the piece of paper that means Clint, the shark hunter, gets hired so that he can redeem himself for opening the beaches. He is shown to have very intense thalassophobia. In this absolutely classic and famous scene, he is shown to not be able to relax or focus because he's so paranoid that something's gonna happen to one of the many people in the water. Just the knowledge that there's a shark out there just makes him terribly uncomfortable, and it's shown in Roy Scheider's brilliant performance. There's excellent camera work in this scene where he's like, well, there's someone talking to him and it's focusing on that person, but like they're to the side, and the rest of the screen is covered by someone in the water, showing that Brody isn't really paying attention to them and focusing on the people in the water just because he's so terrified of what might happen. It's brilliant. However, he learns to fight against his thalassophobia in order to kill the shark at the end of the movie. And him killing the shark at the end of the movie is in a way symbolic of him finally facing his fears. It's one of the most exhilarating sequences in movie history. I love it to bits. Just like what the shark is in after this scene. And while, yes, it is completely 100% impossible for an oxygen tank to explode like that, that's not the point of the scene. The point is giving a satisfying ending that feels earned, and it's brilliant at that. Because of all of these things and more, it makes Chief Brody the perfect main character for this movie, and I don't think it would have been the same if it followed any of the other main characters. And hey, speaking of which, let's talk about Hooper now. Hooper is a marine biologist hired by Brody to help kill the shark. And while he isn't as complex a character as Brody, he brings a lot of humanity to the film. He shows himself to be really intelligent, using logic and reason to determine that Chrissy's death was not caused by a boat, but was in fact caused by a shark. I love that it isn't just, oh, he finds a tooth in the body, that must mean shark. No, I love that he actually uses reasoning to figure out that it wasn't a boat propeller, but was in fact a shark. He is also shown to stand up for reason and nothing else, as he doesn't just blindly accept what the authorities say when he knows that people can actually get hurt.
I think that I am familiar with the fact that you are going to ignore this particular problem until it swims up and bites you on the...
And yet, despite all of that, he's still a bit humorous as well. There may not be a whole lot to his character, but he brings humanity and intelligence to the film that makes him extremely likable. And then finally, there's Sam Quint.
Hey, Chief. You try this. Made it myself. Pretty good stuff.
Thanks.
Here's to swimming with bow-legged women.
Excuse me, Chief.
Sam Quint is the grizzled shark hunter that is hired to find and kill the shark. He's shown to be very humorous, and he's kind of a jerk. There's a scene where he asks Hooper to tie a rope into a sheep shank, and then after Hooper ties it, he doesn't even look at it, and then mocks Hooper for being a rich boy with quote-unquote city hands.
You're not going to do this aboard the ship, are you, Mr. Quint?
Maybe I should go alone.
He shows a deep hatred toward sharks, as shown by this shot, having a hobby of hunting them. And you wonder for the whole movie, why? Why does he hate sharks so much? And well, you get your answer in one of the greatest speeches in movie history. There's a scene where Quint and Hooper are showing off their past injuries and the scars left from it, and it seems fun at first, but then it leads into this.
What's that one?
What?
That one there, on your arm.
Oh, it's a tattoo. I got that removed.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Mother.
What is it? To Hooper, that's the USS Indianapolis.
Quint goes on to explain that he was a crewmate of the USS Indianapolis, a real-life ship that was used in World War II to deliver the Hiroshima bomb. At some point, it got hit by a Japanese torpedo, and Quint says that he and a bunch of other crewmates had to float in the water as no distress signal had been sent because the mission was so secret. And he mentions that there were sharks in the water.
Very first light, Chief. Sharks come cruising. So we formed ourselves into tight groups. You know, it's kind of like old squares in a battle, like you see in a calendar, like the Battle of Waterloo, and the idea was shark comes to the nearest man, that man he starts pounding and hollering and screaming. Sometimes the shark would go away. Sometimes he wouldn't go away. Sometimes that shark, he looks right into you, right into your eyes. You know the thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes. When he comes at you, he doesn't seem to be living until he bites you. And those black eyes roll over white, and then you hear that terrible high-pitched screaming. The ocean turns red. In spite of all the pounding and the hollering, they all come in and they rip you to pieces.
I genuinely love this scene. It explains so much about the character in such a simple way, but it's so damn effective. It explains why Quint hates sharks so much. It gives Quint a sense of vulnerability, and his sense of humor and constant cracking of jokes, you know, is probably him trying to distract himself from the PTSD of seeing his colleagues get ripped to pieces by sharks as they're sitting ducks in the water. I just like that the scene humanizes Quint more and gives him a genuine reason to hate sharks so much. And finally, after years of shark hunting, he finally meets his end at the hands of a great white shark. Or should I say fins, or jaws. And so those are our three main protagonists of the movie. By humanizing these guys and really making them feel like real people that you can connect with, it helps make the scenes with the shark way scarier than it would have been if they just had some generic characters that you don't give a crap about. And that's why I love Jaws so much. While a lesser movie would have gone, "Oh bro, check out this shark, isn't it scary?" Jaws actually makes the effort to make the shark scary by humanizing the main characters and making them really likable. Jaws understands that if you actually like all the main characters and want them to succeed, the film is way scarier. Yeah, there are other things that go into making a film scary as well. It's not just, I like the main characters, I don't want them to die. But that's a pretty key point, and Jaws utilizes that beautifully. Another thing that this movie utilizes beautifully is the idea of hiding your monster makes it more mysterious and creepy. Instead of showing, whoa, look how impressive our effects on the shark is, and instead opts for different methods, like those first person shots to make the shark's presence felt without you actually seeing it. And something like that is way more memorable than if just a shark popped out and went, rah. I know sharks don't have vocal cords, I'm just saying. Jaws has 3 sequels, but the thing is, they don't actually feel like they're respecting the original movie. They just feel like they're being made to make money because the original film was such a huge hit, basically inventing the blockbuster. However, I think the fact that these movies exist is a testament to how good the first movie is, because the reason why that movie was such a hit is because it's so good. So that's Jaws, my favorite movie of all time. Thank you so much for watching. It really means a lot. Once again, thank you for 50 subscribers. That is just incredible to me. And yeah, I've been Green Films Official. You've been awesome, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.